Let me conclude, and this becomes difficult.
It's amazing. I wish so much I'd been in the audience as a member of the press where I could have just said, excuse me, sir, on behalf of the world, where are your balls? Asking, at least for America, but I think my friends in Australia too. Yeah, we're just wondering where they are. It's perfect. They
have great people. I love Canada.
Yeah.
I love the people.
Likewise, yeah.
It's just they're too nice and they let communists run their country.
In Canadian federal politics, the Canucks are represented by two separate yet unequal groups. The globalists who sold out and the opposition trying to salvage a country. These are their stories.
Well, I don't think they're going to win the argument that somehow the U.S. is more hated. Look, we've been hated in a variety of locations.
Well, we definitely are hated in Canada right now.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a hockey game? They were booing the national anthem so hard. They're getting 3 fights in the first 9 minutes. That's what it is, and that's what people need to understand.
It's not rocket science.
It's not that the Europeans are the kinder, more progressive. No, this like they understand that it's coming.
Yeah.
And they want to do everything they can to stop it because most people are fed up.
Yeah.
Most people just want to be left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
And if you tell them that they can't put a flag meme on one of their Facebook pages or they get arrested, which is what happened in Germany.
Yeah. Yeah, or talk about, so if you talk about the immigration problem and you say, look, we got to stop this, we got to, maybe secure borders. If you talk about the Ukraine war and say, I don't think we should be supporting, dumping more resource into Ukraine, all those things, or reproductive rights, if you're on the wrong side of that from a European perspective, they're coming after you. And so that's what J.D. Vance came after. He turned the tables on them and focused on that. And that was, A, it was completely unexpected. And B, I think, the reality of it, the fact that it's truthful, I think upset a lot of them.
It's truthful, and it also appeals to their citizens.
The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America. Now, I was struck that a former European commissioner went on television recently and sounded delighted that the Romanian government had just annulled an entire election. He warned that if things don't go to plan, the very same thing could happen in Germany, too. Now, these cavalier statements are shocking to American ears. For years, we've been told that everything we fund and support is in the name of our shared democratic values. Everything from our Ukraine policy to digital censorship is billed as a defense of democracy. But when we see European courts canceling elections and senior officials threatening to cancel others, we ought to ask whether we're holding ourselves to an appropriately high standard. And I say ourselves because I fundamentally believe that we are on the same team. We must do more than talk about democratic values, we must live them. Now, within living memory of many of you in this room, the Cold War positioned defenders of democracy against much more tyrannical forces on this continent. And consider the side in that fight that censored dissidents, that closed churches, that canceled elections. Were they the good guys? Certainly not. And thank God they lost the Cold War. They lost because they neither valued nor respected all of the extraordinary blessings of liberty. The freedom to surprise, to make mistakes, to invent, to build. As it turns out, you can't mandate innovation or creativity, just as you can't force people what to think, what to feel, or what to believe. And we believe those things are certainly connected. And unfortunately, when I look at Europe today, it's sometimes not so clear what happened to some of the Cold War's winners.
Let me conclude, and this becomes difficult.
It's amazing. I wish so much I'd been in the audience as a member of the press where I could have just said, excuse me, sir, on behalf of the world, where are your balls? Asking, at least for America, but I think my friends in Australia too. Yeah, we're just wondering where they are. It's perfect. It's really actually kind of perfect when you think about what's happened in Germany, which is really one of the main perpetrators of the terrible crackdown on free speech.
That's the thing. The citizens say, this is the way we want our government to talk.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because a lot of people on, there's a lot of people on social media right now going, oh my God, you don't realize how hated, you are now as Americans, and the U.S. is so hated. And I think, I spent most of my time overseas, right? And most people are going, yeah, it seems like it's common sense. You guys are finally coming around, right? And so I don't think they're going to win the argument that somehow the U.S. is more hated. Look, we've been hated in a variety of locations.
Well, we definitely are hated in Canada right now.
Oh, yeah.
See the hockey game? They were booing the national anthem so hard.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they get in 3 fights in the first 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we kick Canada's ass. Sorry, Canada. In Canada. Which is not good because that's their fucking sport. That's basically their only shot at beating us at anything.
Yeah. Well, curling.
They might be able to win at that. But if we practice it, we'd be better at that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they make great mixed martial arts fighters. One of the greatest of all time, George St. Pierre's from Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
But after that,
let me think.
Get your football team. Come fuck with America.
I'm trying to think of other things that I could throw out there.
Nothing. Maybe baseball. They got Blue Jays are really good.
Molson.
Yeah, they have strong beer.
Yeah,
they have
got
great
good beer.
people. I love Canada.
Yeah.
I love the people.
Likewise, yeah.
It's just they're too nice and they let communists run their country.
Yeah.
And that guy's a communist.
Well, it is one of those moments where you think, okay, I understand. I get your point. The talk about turning Canada into a 51st state.
That's a little crazy.
That's a little crazy. It's a little crazy.
He's serious. He told me on the phone he was serious.
Yeah. Well,
at first I was joking around, but then I was thinking maybe it's not a bad idea. Now I think he keeps talking to him. He refers to him as Governor Trudeau. It's so funny.
You know what I love is I was just out in the Middle East for some things, including the amazing trek with the guys from the SF Club, and it was right during the period of time when President Trump announced his idea during that press conference with Netanyahu about, look, we're gonna own, the U.S. is gonna own Gaza.
Did you see the look on Netanyahu's face when he was saying that?
Yes, which was priceless.
Like, what in the fuck?
I know.
Did I get into?
And now you know what they're all doing. The Israeli cabinet is fully on board with the idea, in part because I think they understand that, okay, look, this is probably not going to happen, but if we take this position, right, it's going to create chaos. It's going to create some movement, right? Maybe.
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. Let's go for a spin. So, what do you think